Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about 13 motorcycle maintenance mistakes that only stupid people make. 13. Super loud aftermarket exhausts. There's a difference between nice exhaust sounds and a bike that sounds like a malfunctioning jet engine. Some riders swap in cheap exhaust pipes that crank the decibels to 11 and think it makes their bike mean. What it really does is make every ride a rolling noise complaint. Sure, loud pipes might save lives, but obnoxiously loud pipes just make people avoid you. Cities are cracking down, neighborhoods call the cops, and eventually you become that guy. And let's be honest, if your bike sounds faster than it actually is, you're not intimidating anyone. You're just advertising insecurity at full volume. 12. Removing mirrors because it looks cleaner. We get it. You're going for that sleek, aggressive track bike look. But unless you ride on closed courses and have a film crew following your every move, ditching mirrors is straight up dumb. Traffic is brutal. Lane changes, tailgaters, sketchy drivers on their phones. Your mirrors are your lifeline. Without them, you're forced to do the classic helmet whip just to check your six. And by the time you spot that car barreling up behind you, it might already be too late. Mirrors aren't fashion accessories. They're survival tools. And if you think they ruin your bike's vibe, wait until you get sideswiped because you couldn't see what was coming. 11. Cheap Amazon levers and brake parts. Look, we all love a good deal, but when it comes to parts that literally control your ability to stop or go, bargain bin shopping is asking for disaster. Those $15 clutch levers or brake master cylinders might look like the fancy anodized stuff pros use, but they're often poorly machined, brittle, and made from who knows what. There have been horror stories of cheap levers snapping mid-ride and sticking under pressure, or not even fitting properly right out of the box. If your throttle sticks or your brake lever fails in an emergency, that great deal suddenly becomes the most expensive mistake of your life. When it comes to your controls, don't cheap out. This isn't where you cut corners. It's where you invest in staying alive. 10. Removing turn signals completely. Some riders think they're pulling off the ultimate minimalist look by ditching their turn signals altogether. No flush mounts, no LEDs, just clean, empty bodywork. But here's the problem. Cars don't know what you're doing. You're already hard to see on a bike, and now you've made it even harder for people to predict your next move. And before you say, I use hand signals, just remember, most drivers don't even understand hand signals, especially when you're trying to make one at night while also managing a clutch, throttle, and brakes. This isn't a fixie bike, it's a motorcycle in live traffic. Those blinkers aren't there to ruin your aesthetic. They're there so someone in a 5,000-pound SUV doesn't T-bone you because they didn't know you're about to turn left. 9. Chicken strip shaming stickers. Nothing screams try hard like slapping on a sticker that says, wipe your chicken strips, or do you even lean, bro? It's the equivalent of flexing in the gym while lifting empty bars. Here's a reality check. Not everyone is speeding on highways or dragging knees on racetracks. Plenty of riders commute, cruise, or just enjoy the ride without needing to corner like Rossi. And honestly, if you're bragging about having 0 chicken strips on public roads, that probably just means you're riding way too aggressively in traffic. These stickers don't make you look cool. They make you look like the insecure guy who peaked on day 1 of their MSF course. 8. Lowering the bike until it's practically scraping the asphalt. Dropping a bike a little for comfort or reach is one thing, but when people slam their bikes to the point where speed bumps become mortal enemies, that's where it goes from practical to stupid really fast. A super low ride height destroys your suspension level, wrecks handling, and makes the bike bottom out on the smallest dips. And cornering? Forget about it. You'll be scraping hard parts so early, it'll feel like the road is rejecting your entire setup. Sure, it might look slick sitting still, but bikes are meant to sit still. If your mod turns your ride into a 2-wheeled paperweight, it's not functional. It's just flat out dumb. 7. Cutting the rear subframe. Trying to build that ultra clean cafe racer or street fighter look? Cool. But hacking off your rear subframe with a grinder in your garage after watching 2 YouTube videos? Not so cool. The subframe isn't just there for passengers. It supports the seat, tail section, and sometimes even electronics. Chop it off without reinforcing it properly, and you might end up with a wobbly mess, cracked welds, or a seat that feels like it's floating on a trampoline. And good luck carrying a passenger or any luggage. A lot of riders do this mod chasing a style, but end up wrecking both the structure and resale value of the bike. Aesthetics are fine, but not when they compromise the backbone of your machine. Literally. 6. Those ridiculous handlebar spikes. Spike bar ends, skull-shaped grips, medieval-looking levers. Some riders really go all in on the apocalypse bike vibe. But here's the thing, you're not starring in Mad Max, and those spikes aren't just pointless, they're dangerous. In a crash, they turn into impalement hazards. In tight parking situations, they gouge paint, tear up other bikes, and rip gloves. And don't even think about lane splitting with those on. You'll turn your handlebars into a weaponized liability. These things don't make you look tough. They make you look like someone who's more into cosplay than riding. Keep your hands safe and your ride clean. You don't need weaponized handlebars to be taken seriously. 5. Painting your helmet to match the bike. We've all seen that one rider with a neon green bike and a helmet painted to match. Poorly. Drips, uneven coats, maybe even a hand-drawn logo that looks like it was done with a Sharpie. Worse yet, painting a helmet the wrong way can mess with its structural integrity. Most helmets are designed with outer shells that can be weakened by paint solvents. So unless you're using the right materials and techniques, you're risking your skull for a color scheme. A helmet is your most important piece of gear, not a canvas for your art project. If you want it to match your bike, spend the extra cash and buy one made that way. It'll look better, and it might save your life. 4. Installing underglow that looks like a spaceship. Underglow lighting can be tasteful. Subtle LEDs tucked under the frame, just enough to make your bike pop a little at night. But when riders go full Fast and Furious with rainbow chasers, strobing greens, pulsing purples, and enough wattage to rival a Vegas casino sign, it stops being cool and starts being cringe. Not only does it scream "look at me" in the worst way, but it's also illegal in a lot of places. Those bright flashing lights can get you pulled over faster than you can say neon kit. And in some cases, they can actually confuse other drivers, especially if you've got red or blue lights mimicking emergency vehicles. More importantly, it completely kills the bike's vibe. You're not riding the Millennium Falcon. You're on two wheels. Let the road be your spotlight, not a Walmart LED strip glued to your fairings with double-sided tape. 3. Stretched swing arms on street bikes. Stretched swing arms make sense in one place, the drag strip. You're going in a straight line, putting massive power on the ground, and you need stability to avoid flapping your bike at launch. But when someone takes a street-legal sport bike, slaps a 12-inch swing arm extension, and crawls through traffic like they're towing a trailer, it's just painful to watch. You've now traded sharp handling, quick turn-ins, and real-world cornering for the ability to slowly cruise in a straight line, awkwardly. It looks clunky, it rides like a boat, and it defeats the purpose of having a nimble sport bike in the first place. Worse still, some people throw one on just for the look without upgrading the chain, suspension, or geometry, turning the whole thing into a half-baked mess. If your idea of customizing your ride means butchering its performance, you're not modding, you're mutilating. 2. Removing the front fender for style. Some riders yank off the front fender thinking it gives the bike a cleaner, more aggressive look, like something you'd see on a custom scrambler build. But here's what actually happens. Ride through one puddle and your entire face gets sprayed with dirty water and gravel. Hit a patch of wet road and your radiator takes a direct blast of muck. On top of that, the fender isn't just cosmetic, it helps manage airflow, keeping debris out of critical components, and can even reduce front end lift at speed. And don't forget tire fling. At high speeds, that front wheel turns into a blender, throwing everything it touches straight up at your forks, triple trees, and sometimes even your visor. Removing it might give your bike a certain bare bones aesthetic, but unless you enjoy scrubbing bugs and mud off your jacket after every ride, this is one mod that trades real function for fake style. 1. Fake engine sound speakers. Somewhere, someone decided their 300cc bike didn't sound tough enough, so instead of upgrading the exhaust, or learning to ride better, they installed a speaker system that pumps out fake engine sounds. Yes, actual speakers mounted on the bike, playing recordings of engines revving. Some even let you choose different engine types, V8s, inline 4s, even F1 car noises, synced to your throttle input. On paper, it sounds like a bad April Fool's joke. In real life, it's even worse. People do double takes, not because they're impressed, but because they're confused. One second, your bike sounds like a Ducati Superleggera, the next, it's channeling a Nissan Skyline. Meanwhile, your real engine's still buzzing away like a sewing machine underneath it all. It's pure secondhand embarrassment for anyone within earshot. Plus, it adds weight, drains your battery, and gives off major poser energy. A motorcycle is about feel, raw, real power, vibration, throttle response, the actual sound of combustion. If you need fake noise to feel like a badass, the problem isn't your bike, it's your confidence. No one ever earned respect by pretending to be fast. They earned it by learning, riding well, and letting the bike speak for itself without a Bluetooth speaker doing the talking. If you're guilty of any one of these feelings, stop immediately so you don't ruin your reputation. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more motorcycle content.